I have a written statement, prepared statement I'd like to provide to you. First, good morning and thank you for joining me. I hope by now you've all had opportunity to read ECU's press release. The bottom line is this: effective Wednesday, August 26th, we will pivot all undergraduate courses to online or remote delivery. I recommended that to President Peter Hans, and he has approved it. I am thankful for his support and of course his approval. Our goal is to quickly decelerate the rapid spread of COVID-19. Residence halls will initiate move out this week, and we hope to have the process completed by Sunday, August 30th. I have said many times that the basic reason for reopening this fall, or any fall for that matter, is mission. We find it very difficult to maximize student success or assist with regional success if we remain virtual. Our secret sauce is engagement, and that requires in-person campus activities inside and outside the classroom. So from a mission standpoint, I am really disappointed for all our pirates. This decision hurts. I have also repeatedly said that the health and well-being of our students, our employees, and the community that we call home, Greenville, North Carolina, are our top priority. And that is especially emphasized and true right now during this awful pandemic. In our Return to Pirate Nation plan, we promised to monitor and to analyze key metrics in order to modify our plan if needed and to make difficult but wise decisions. We have done precisely that over the past summer months. You are already aware of our recent growth in COVID clusters on campus. Let me summarize some of the basic testing numbers for students. In June, we tested just under 400 times, and our rate of infection was 3%. In July, we tested over 500 cases, and our infection rate was 8%, right around the state norm. August, thus far, we have tested over 1,600 cases, and our infection rate has grown to 19%. Now let me emphasize this. Between Monday and Friday of this week, we did about 800 tests, and our infection rate was 25%, with most of that highly accelerated growth occurring since Tuesday. And so, out of deep concern, as you might imagine, for the health, the well-being of our students, our employees, and for this community, Greenville, we've decided to pivot. We pivot to remote learning, and we reduce the densities of students on our campus. And now we'll open it up for some questions.
Chancellor Mitchell, just want to say on behalf of all of us, I'm sure, thank you for doing this and having us here today
Yep.
for this interview, this opportunity. What was sort of the needle that broke the camel's back to make this decision to move online?
So I view this as the opening surge, right? We all expected an increase in cases. All of us expected an increase in cases when we brought the students back to Greenville or to Raleigh or to Chapel Hill. It doesn't matter where you bring them. An increase in cases. The magnitude of that surge is really what has hampered the plan that NC State had, that Chapel Hill had, and certainly that ECU has. So this surge has overwhelmed our capacity to care appropriately for the students infected. And that's isolation and quarantine capacity. And we've seen the same thing at the other two institutions. That's the bottom line.
If you wouldn't mind, what is the status going to be of the football team this year? What's the status on that?
Well, they're on pause right now, right? So we hope that we can get their situation analyzed and we can get them back up and running on the practice field. Right now, we've got a game scheduled for September 12th against Marshall. We're playing it.
What does it mean for the student athletes that live in the dorm, the football players that live in the the dorms? What does
Yeah.
that mean for them?
So the dorms will remain open by exception to students, by exception. So student athletes are one category of that exception. You can imagine international students as part of that exception. We have some students who really can't go home because of lack of Wi-Fi or internet access. They'll be permitted to stay as well, hardship cases. So we'll have the residence halls open by exception to certain student categories.
Chancellor, I'm sorry this happened. It's going to be a tremendous financial hit. What can you tell us right now about layoffs and furloughs?
So right now there are no plans for layoffs and furloughs. But you know, we've done the scenario planning. We've done that over the summer, and most of that is public. If you look into the scenario plans, this is labeled as C1, right? DE online, and its impact, total impact, we're estimating to be for the year roughly $55 million. That's what's in the public document. Take half of that, perhaps $27 million for the first half of the year. It'll mean adjustments. There's no doubt in my mind that it will mean adjustments. Now that's across all categories of our activity. That includes the practice plan, ECU physicians. That includes athletics. That includes dining. That includes housing. These are huge categories, and each will probably be affected in terms of revenue streams. So the impact will be significant.
Does this announcement today have any effect at all right now on the game day experience for football, tailgating, fans, that type of thing, or is that still not to be determined?
To be determined. I mean, I think we're working hard on what that might look like. We still have Governor Cooper and the executive order is still in place. We'll see what happens. That's in place until the 11th. The game is the 12th. Again, we're into scenario planning for that. I would expect this. Attendance at game one will have to be limited, right? It just has to be. And my hope is that we can scale after that.
What about all other sports right now? Is there going to be pause same as football?
No, I think this is pretty independent of what the athletics department is going to be doing, right? They are on a schedule, and those students will remain in Greenville, and they'll continue to practice. I don't know if there's other pauses over there in athletics right now because of the COVID. Certainly football is the one that gets the attention. But no, we'll move forward.
The health director toured the stadium this, I think, Friday.
Yeah.
Have you gotten the results of that or feedback and what they saw and moving forward to football this year?
So I wasn't on the tour with the health director. I met with the health director along with John Gilbert and some of his team on Wednesday, I believe it was. And we talked through some of these attendance scenarios just to lay that out there so he could start thinking about it. And then he asked, to his credit, to tour the facility so that he could see what he was dealing with. And I think it gives him a much better idea, improved idea over what he faces in terms of permitting things to happen here. So no plan yet, but again, my notion is that we'll probably have to start out with a very limited attendance in the first game, and then hopefully scale from that.
What's a message that you would have for undergrads right now, especially freshmen?
Yeah.
I spoke with this morning, and some of them are just really bummed about the news. They understand, but they're bummed. What is something you would say to them?
So they want to be here, right? This is one of the compelling reasons why we had to try. They are more successful when they're here with us and we engage with them directly, both in and out of that classroom. They have my tremendous, they have my support. I know that the faculty, the staff will continue to support them in many ways. Many of our services will go online to support them. It's horrible. It is just horrible to bring them here and then to have to send them away. Yeah. So we'll support them in all ways that we can. The counseling centers here, some of them will really, I'm disappointed. You might not be able to tell, but I'm sad as heck right now over this. And so the Pirate Nation's suffering right now. And what I want to make sure is that we're all good to each other.
Well,
Yeah, so a prorated refund on housing and tuition. No, excuse me, housing and dining. Tuition, what we've done, now tuition is governed by Board of Governors, and as you know, this summer they indicated that we would bill according to how we started the semester, so we've done that with no refunds on those. What we have done is that if students wish to withdraw, we've extended the withdrawal period so that they can withdraw from the university without financial penalty.
So they get their money back, but they don't get the credit for the class.
That's correct.
Just to go back and kind of confirm about the attendance stadium type stuff, is the scenarios, is one of these scenarios no fans at all? You know, if the governor doesn't open up
Yeah,
phase
sure.
3, is that an option?
Yeah, because even with no fans at all, you're still going to have 500 people in the stadium.
For personnel?
Yeah,
and
the players, the coaches, the staff, the support staff, the press, you know, they'll be there. So you'll have 500, at the very minimum for the game day, you'll have 500. So we already need some help.
So football is a reason for people to gather and party, whether they're in the stadium or not. What kind of discussions are taking place about that? And have you considered not having a football game just to prevent people from having 400-person parties?
Well, we certainly are going to have a hard time policing what happens off ECU property.
You cannot have a football game.
There won't be tailgating on ECU property, and we've already discussed that. And that's similar to what I've been hearing from, from the Panthers situation, right? They're not going to permit tailgating, so we're not going to permit tailgating on ECU property. Beyond that, if the executive order much depends on the executive order from the governor, right? So I do think that ECU PD, along with Greenville PD, will be enforcing the governor's executive order on game day, which makes sense to me.
All right, that's all. Everybody good? Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, number one, you've been very patient with me over the last few days, and I'm thankful for that. It's been a pretty difficult, hectic time for our campus, and we've invested a lot of time in making sure that we get this right and communicated properly. So thank you for that.